നമസ്കാരം. എല്ലാ പ്രിയപ്പെട്ട പ്രേക്ഷകർക്കും മാതൃഭൂമി ന്യൂസിലേക്ക് സ്വാഗതം. കഴിഞ്ഞ കുറച്ച് ദിവസങ്ങളായി നമ്മുടെ സംസ്ഥാനത്ത് ഏറ്റവും കൂടുതൽ ചർച്ചാ വിഷയമായിരിക്കുന്നത് രണ്ട് ഭേദഗതികളും കണ്ണൂർ സർവകലാശാലയിലെ ഒരു നിയമനവുമാണ്. ആ രണ്ട് ഭേദഗതികൾ ഇപ്പോൾ ഗവർണറുടെ മുന്നിലാണ്. ആ റാങ്ക് ലിസ്റ്റ്, നിയമനവുമായി ബന്ധപ്പെട്ട റാങ്ക് ലിസ്റ്റ് ഗവർണർ സ്റ്റേ ചെയ്തിരിക്കുകയാണ്. ഇതുമായി ബന്ധപ്പെട്ട് ഗവർണർക്ക് എന്താണ് പറയാനുള്ളത്, അദ്ദേഹത്തിന്റെ നിലപാടുകൾ എന്താണ്, നമുക്ക് അദ്ദേഹത്തോട് തന്നെ ചോദിച്ചറിയാം. നമ്മോടൊപ്പം ഇപ്പോൾ ഗവർണർ ആരിഫ് മുഹമ്മദ് ഖാൻ ചേരുകയാണ്. A warm welcome to you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for having us. I want to start by quoting you. 3 days back when you came back, I heard you saying to the media, you are ashamed to be the chancellor. Why are you ashamed?
Appointments are being made to various posts, even at the lower level, not just teachers. And there is executive interference. And the vice chancellors are not allowed to act independently. There is every reason to feel ashamed of. That is why I said the number of complaints which I receive on a regular basis. Sometimes it appears as if
there is only wrong things happening?
No, not that. As if violation of the provisions of the Act of the University, violation of the UGC regulation is something normal.
Habitually it's happening.
Habitually it is happening.
I'm sure you're aware about the amendment, the University Amendment Bill. The amendment, you think this amendment right now the government is bringing because they want to take this rights and decision power which you hold right now want to be taken away?
Shri Narayan Guru University was created through the instrumentality of an ordinance. It became proper law. Kind of treatment which Shri Narayan Guru University received, Vice Chancellor received in Delhi. At the senior most level, people were immediately giving him interview, discussing things with him, trying to see how they can help the university. But the government, which had created the university through the instrumentality of ordinance, took more than 1 year to sanction the staff. The result was 1 full academic year was lost. Even this bill,
Yes.
Only recently CAG has pointed out that there are departments in Kerala University, departments are running and there is no staff. The only thing they are interested in is appointment of the Vice Chancellor. Possibly they feel that their relatives and cadre all cannot be accommodated as personal staff.
So you think they are accommodated in the universities?
Well, that is the only, otherwise you explain to me. After CAG report, and that is just for Kerala University, they have pointed out that UGC regulation allows only 10% teachers on the contract basis. Here the number is close to 40%. And when this is such an open and shut case, candidate does not, on the face of it, prima facie, candidate does not deserve even to be called for interview because this candidate does not have the requisite teaching experience. The time period, UGC regulation clearly says
8 years.
that if you are on leave to complete your PhD, that period will not be included in your teaching experience. Here they have thrown all the rules to the wind. Research score lowest.
Yes, 150.
Interview, every 5 parameters are there. Every parameter that candidate, because she is related to somebody who works in Chief Minister's office, the universities are not meant for that. You want these irregularities and illegalities to commit and get my signature over it? Impossible. You become chancellor, I have no problem.
So how are you seeing the amendment? It's
No, but I would, I have said it earlier, I say it now. Assembly, I respect the right of the Assembly to pass, adopt any measure.
But you
They have a right to do it.
Yes.
I have an obligation to see whether the provisions whether the measure which has been adopted, whether its provisions are in accordance with the Constitution, with the law.
We are talking about the rank list of Priya Varghese. She is the wife of ex-MP K.K. Ragesh. He is the private secretary to the Chief Minister right now. You and the court has also interfered in the matter, has put a comma but not full stop. What can we do if the...
No, comma means that prima facie it appears that allegations are right.
Right.
Prima facie it appears that this is an open and shut case of favoritism. But simply because I feel it is an open and shut, therefore I hang somebody for it? No. Proper, it has been stated, show cause notice is being issued. Proper hearings will be held. The records will be examined. And then a final verdict based on those hearings and examination of the records will be given. The whole, I would say the state was being threatened that in 2 days' time appointment order will be issued.
The VC told that.
That was kind of threat.
Yes.
So I had to intervene.
A person who you think is criminal, who you think is a habitual offender, why did you reappoint him?
I will explain to you. There was, I must admit that there was lot of pressure on. The time I appointed Kerala University Vice Chancellor, they were clear that this man cannot be pressurized. Honorable Chief Minister comes to Rajbhavan and he pleads with me. He says that Kannur is my home district. And my request is that you give weightage to my opinion. When you appoint, you should take this factor into consideration. I found it reasonable request. I assume that maybe they realize that their candidate is not going to be to figure, because there was some provision there which could have excluded age or now I don't exactly remember. Now I don't exactly remember. When they realized that, then I received a call from the CM office that you have given your word that you will accommodate his. I said yes, selection committee is going through and these things. No, now the question is that if you have already, if you are going to accommodate, then why go through this process? I said, you are asking me to scuttle the process? Everything should have been through a process. He kept arguing and then he said that on that you need not worry because Advocate General of the state is of the view that this process is not very important. That was, now I realize, that was my blunder. When I asked him to show me the opinion, he produced a paper, on plain paper. I said, it is not signed. It is not on the letterhead of the Advocate General. Within 2 hours, they came here armed, not only with the signed opinion of the Advocate General, but also the letter of the Education Minister. Place yourself in my position. If I have a problem, some legal dilemma is there. If Chief Minister has some, whom we will consult formally? Advocate General.
Yes.
Advocate General, without my asking him,
He already was consulted.
he is giving his opinion is right. So the choice at that stage before me was, if I wanted to reject, I could have rejected the recommendation of the Education Minister. But to reject the opinion of the Advocate General, that I should have got into this process of seeking opinion from other sources, consulting Delhi lawyers and all that. And that will, my feeling was that will sour the relationship between the government and me. And I wanted to avoid that.
Today, do you think they want you to continue as the Chancellor? If yes, why the amendment?
They want to do wrong things and get them signed by me. They don't want to take the responsibility. And I'm sorry to say, I'm saying this to a lady, but there is an English proverb that exercising power without responsibility, I won't say whose prerogative it is. I did not even once spoke to Chief Minister what happened in Kannur University. That was enough, because keep it in mind. What happened in Kannur is not a civil matter. It's a criminal activity.
Why you didn't take up it as a complaint?
That is because I know that the relationship between these people and the Chief Minister, I did not wish to this case affect our relationship, because I know it was very difficult for him to act against them. If he does not come to the Raj Bhavan after reading in the newspapers and watching on the channels that the governor of the state, an attempt was made on his, physical attempt was made on him, he does not come here to ask me about my welfare.
You wanted to safeguard the relation you have with the
I
state.
have given you the examples.
Yeah, I understood
to
that.
what extent I have gone.
I understood that. Tomorrow, an urgent meeting is called of the CPM State Committee, and as for it is known, it is to talk about the tiff that is happening between the Raj Bhavan and the government right now. And national leaders are being flied in. Karat is coming, Yechuri is coming. How do you see the situation?
I will welcome, and I tell you, I will reconsider my whole decision if Mr. Karat says that appointment of persons who are not who do not have enough qualification to be considered, to be even called for interview. If Mr. Sitaram Yechuri says, I invite him, through you I am inviting him to come to Raj Bhavan and show to me or tell me that it is okay to appoint persons who otherwise are not qualified in the universities, I will try to reconsider my decision.
Talk about the Logayukta bill. You know what happened? The ex-minister K.T. Jalil became the ex-minister because of the verdict, because of the findings. There is also amendment coming. We are all aware of that a particular case in which the CM, the Chief Minister of the state, is directly involved. That hearing is finished. Maybe the verdict will come soon, and the amendment is coming very soon. How do you see that situation?
Every provision will be scrutinized on the yardstick of Constitution and fair play. You are not allowed to change the rules midway. If suppose some proceedings are pending, then it can't be effective with retrospective effect.
It won't be?
It cannot be.
Okay.
It cannot be. Secondly, I am not giving you any final reply. But the same thing applies to Lokayukta bill also. I will see whether it is being done in accordance with the Constitution for the general good, or it is being done to serve the purpose of few individuals. Law cannot become handmaid of some individuals, certainly not.
The only unity that we see in the opposition and the ruling party right now in state is when they talk about you in the sense, the opposition leader says you are acting as a BJP MLA. The ruling party says you have made this Raj Bhavan to an RSS Shakha. What do you have to say to both this?
I have just now given you, I don't need to say anything. I am proud of my relationship with RSS. And RSS and CPM both in 1986 were supporting.
Yeah.
RSS continued to support my stand. The left diluted their stand. And they started inviting to Ajay Bhavan and their party headquarters those against whom I had taken the stand from 91. And in 2017, asked people in Delhi, when Shabnam Hashmi invited me to a meeting which was organized by left women, and I said, why you are inviting me? You have become too friendly with Muslim personal law board. She publicly, she and others there said, it was our mistake. RSS has consistently supported me on my stand. I am proud of that religion. Do I feel ashamed of my association with? I am proud of that. What is wrong with that? And as far as pressure is concerned, for 2 months all the papers in Kerala was writing that I am being pressurized by BJP and particularly RSS to appoint a particular person as the Vice Chancellor of Kerala University, Vice Chancellor of Calicut University. Was he appointed?
No.
The government possibly then only realized that if he can withstand the pressure from the other side, how he is going to succumb to our pressure, and then Chief Minister came in.
One last question, since you talked about the criticism, I'm sure you are aware of Priyanka Chaturvedi, the Shiv Sena MP. She wrote 2 days back, the Honorable Governor of Kerala had once stepped down when injustice in the case of Shah Banu was done, rightly so. He talked about it vocally, but he is silent on Bilkis Banu.
I have already said that if any rule has been bent to give advantage to those who were in the jail, if they have not spent the time which according to law an ordinary life prisoner must spend in the jail, please let me know. I will decide about that. But here in Kerala, only last month, I have signed, this is remission papers, where somebody who was responsible for the death, whose tragedy, whose tragedy is less horrible? I am asking you. Is it less horrible?
It's not.
I have signed papers. Be you ever so high, the law is above you. Then we are Indians. Mahatma Gandhi has said, hate the crime, not the criminal. Maybe these people who are in all religious scriptures ask you to visit people who are in prison. Why? Once you lose your freedom, you also have time to review your actions. Should we, as a civilized society, do we not need to give another chance to those who want to reform themselves? Constitution ensures equality before law and equal protection of the law. Now it cannot happen that some prisoners who meet all these requirements, they will be released, and some who meet those requirements, they will not be released. How will we allow that?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you for...
Very good.